Good evening, gentle listener, and welcome to Distractible. This week, Haunted Bob probes deeply into art, and quietly quits from a Sixth Sense school. Omnitalented Mark is fired by Michael Scott due to a misdirecting dusty tome. And Wade quits the good life and didn't like the requirement to be strapped to take a census. From blood pacts to secret napping spots. Yes, it's time for I Quit, Part 2. Now sit back and prepare to be distracted and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Distractible. I am your host for today, and my name is Bob. I'm joined, as ever, always, is there another way to say that? As if, by Mark and Wade.
In perpetuity.
I am haunted by the ghosts of friendships past. I am forever pestered by these two men who will never leave me be. I love these guys. It's Mark and Wade, everybody.
Hi, Bob. And everyone else, I guess.
Look, we've made a good number of these now. I was trying to spice it up. I did not mean to insult you guys in the intro.
It's fine, you're the host.
It's just come so naturally for you.
All right, well, these fucks are here, and if you've never watched this before, Distractible is a show where the winner from the previous episode hosts the episode, picks a topic, picks a scoring system, and or completely arbitrarily selects a winner at the end, and at the end, that winner hosts the next episode. It's an endless cycle until one of us accidentally dies in between recordings and there can be no host because the winner is no longer alive. Then that's how the show ends. One of us dies. That's how that we all agreed. We made a blood pact. You were there. And until that happens, we're going to be making this. And, whether it's good or bad.
How to violate a blood pact.
I mean, you can violate a blood pact super easily. You just don't want to invite that kind of chaos into your life.
Turns out it's a pact with a CT, not a CK.
A blood pack?
A blood pack is a group of Krogans in Mass Effect, I think.
No, you know what? I knew about the PACT thing when I said it.
I should have.
We made a blood pack. We all sat down and drained about a pint each into this little package, and then we keep that in the special Distractible fridge, and that's our binding contract.
Oh, here we go. I found the answer.
Uh-huh.
This is specifically to break a blood oath you took with your girlfriend, but I think it would work for us.
We're basically girlfriends.
You cut your pinky finger and say as follows. I reneged the blood oath with my girlfriend, Mark and Bob. Let the blood fall on something to burn like a tissue. You then burn the tissue. Oh, you don't say that. You actually let your blood. And then the blood oath is thus broken.
You could unilaterally terminate a blood oath? What the hell is the point of a blood oath? You might as well just make a normal promise and avoid all the blood stuff. I thought a blood oath came with, soul consequences or something. Like
you cut your palm, you do the blood-to-blood handshake, and then your souls are intertwined, and if you break it, you die or something like that.
Yeah, like some horrible shit happens if you put... Maybe that's just not in there. Maybe that article's like a prank. Like, yeah, no, you could totally break a blood oath, but then the person who writes it's like... this will create so many tormented souls. Oh, God, I love it.
This is like an evolved form of a troll on the internet. This will bamboozle them really well.
Oh, this will get so many of the normies. They don't even know about soul torment.
I've gone down a horrible rabbit hole. Now I'm learning about the origins of pinky promises and all kinds of things. You guys should probably move on immediately.
What is the origin of pinky promises? I actually really want to know that now.
One possible origin of the promise is Japan, where it's known as, I'm sorry for the pronunciation in advance.
You got this.
Yubikiri, meaning finger cut off. Supposedly people in Japan believe that if you break a pinky promise, you have to cut off your pinky finger in return.
Now that's consequences. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
What if a pinky promise is just where it ended up, but people could just make whatever promise there are. A guy looks at you really seriously and is like, I'm going to need you to make a dick promise with me. This is serious, okay?
Do you still have to wrap them around each other?
You have to get them to hook around and you have to do the thing.
Can you aid them or do you need that much motor control?
Motor control? How much motor control do you have?
You can make a full candy cane.
The easiest way I can imagine involves some bendy straws and some tape.
Interesting. The bendy straws as a brace.
Yeah, no, it's like a form, and then you gotta guide them together so that you
And then you put your dicks on the anvil, and you take your blacksmith's hammer and goes ting, a king.
forge your promise in dick.
It's the only way to be sure.
That guy from the Thor movie who has no hands comes in and is like, hammer them together. Then Groot gives you his body to make an axe handle.
Oh, right. I remember now. No.
He needs the dick hammer.
Dick hammer. And that's where Pinky Promises came from. I'm so glad that we went there.
That's perfect for this Halloween episode. Or
It's Halloween in July? Is that what's happening?
yeah.
No. Small talk. Before we get into the thing and before we talk more about penis hammers or whatever, we usually do small talk. How's it going?
Where's my breaking news bulletin? Man, I could ask them to put in music.
No, don't. Just
All right.
maybe if you do, just supplement Mark singing with like a little subtle music at the very most. But Mark nailed it. Like I don't think he needs anything else.
I believe I did. I know I did, actually. I incredibly know I did. So breaking news, by the time this comes out, it'll have taken the world by storm. The newest release of Stable Diffusion is coming out.
Ooh, everybody loves that, except for some huge chunk of people, especially artists.
If you don't know what Stable Diffusion is, it is the open source and on your computer AI image generation thingamabob that allows you to steal the art of whoever you want anywhere in the world at even bigger resolutions than before and more accurate.
Yay.
I love that for everyone, except maybe artists.
I know. Anyway, that's an oversimplification of what it is. But it is coming out. It's coming out, and there ain't no stopping it. And it's indicative of the idea that, like, once the cat is out of the AI bag, it's just reaching its tentacles all over the place. And it's fascinating because I haven't looked at Stable Diffusion for a while, because when I was first doing it, I was just like, ooh, this is interesting. And then it wasn't very good, and you had to train your own model. I tried to train it on my face because I was like, that would be interesting to be able to make concept art, not for like making a project, but for like ideating what my next project could be and seeing my face in these scenarios. I was like, that's pretty good, but it was really hard to train. Like I trained it, and just like it started out with just nightmare amalgamations of like multiple body parts coming out of my ears, and just like my torso half cut off, and then my legs wrapped up around here. It was just like, it was a freak show, and it was concerning to look at. So I stopped because I didn't like what I was seeing. But now it's getting so good, you know, there really is coming a point where I don't know if I can actually like find any examples.
If you'd like to see both an interesting example of Stable Diffusion and a good representation of the conflict around it and some of the issues not maybe discussed in a very civil way, Corridor Digital on YouTube has some very interesting videos where they apply Stable Diffusion as part of a workflow, not exclusively Stable Diffusion, but they talk about the technical side of it, and they implement it in stylizing some, I think at least a couple videos that they've done. But that is an interesting place to look to get it, because the comment section on those videos is also a lot. There's a lot of controversy about it. But the videos themselves are very interesting about the tech of it.
It's getting better, whether or not you like that or not, but that is...
While you're Googling, I feel like I doubt everyone who listens is aware of this. So if you're interested, there's a big controversy surrounding Stable Diffusion and AI image generation in general. And I would encourage you to find someone who's way more knowledgeable than us about that. But the basic gist of it is these AI generation tools like Midjourney, like Stable Diffusion, where they're using fancy computer algorithmic stuff to like create imagery. The controversy is around the fact that these require images to train off of. So far, they are trained in large part off of images that were not paid for or licensed or given permission in any way. The companies that are training these big models are going online and just finding pieces of art on the internet, which are posted, but are not posted for free use for commercial purposes. And it basically equates to stealing artists' work. It's a complicated thing. The laws around this are super unclear because it's a new technology. I don't think the ethics around it are super unclear. I'm one of those people where I think AI is very cool. I think it's fascinating how quickly it's getting better and like what the tools will mean for the future. But there are some serious issues revolving around stealing of art, using art without permission to train a thing that then generates art that looks, in some cases, very much like the art that was used without permission, and as well as the creative issues around, actual humans being completely replaced with AI. AI art, at least right now, has this kind of sheen to it. It's getting way better, and it's good, but it doesn't have the same life that, like, human-made art has. And you could kind of tell sometimes, you could really tell sometimes. There's a lot of issues. And if you don't know anything about this, if you're an artist, I'm sure you do. But if you don't know anything about it, there's a lot of better sources than us. You should absolutely check it out. And I hope I stalled long enough. Mark looks like he's getting stuff ready.
I got it. So it's like what Bob was saying. It's not really too entirely valuable to know that, like, ooh, it's getting better.
As Philip DeFranco constantly says, this is the worst it will ever be, but it's continuously getting better, which is fascinating to watch.
So yeah, the problem is this was like so large an image, because if I zoom in, that was not impressive.
Whoa!
I swear this image is very large.
So much bigger.
This is meaningless to anybody, but it's like there's XY comparison between the old model and like new model, and it's like this is horribly unvaluable to anybody. I'm stopping my presentation.
Oh, I was looking. All right, well, that's fine.
No, it's too tiny, and it doesn't matter. This wasn't even the right comparison. That was Stable Diffusion 1.5 to 2.0.
Not too tiny for people using their projector screens.
No, it wasn't the right one. I'm
actually watching this on an iMac, so that was huge for me.
I didn't get it right. Just let me be.
Okay, while you're looking, I got another little fun tidbit.
I'm not looking anymore. I'm not going anywhere.
All right, Mark, you keep doing the research. Way's gonna talk.
I can't. It's this thing where you get a Reddit post and it's like, I want to see this image bigger because Reddit doesn't fucking work ever. It's like, oh, I want to see this picture that someone posted. Oh, I can't, and there's no way to zoom in or actually see it full. Anyway.
While Mark pulls that up, go on, Wade.
So it's not AI art, but something that we have used, ChatGPT. Have you guys heard that there's a lawsuit against Meta and ChatGPT?
Those are not the same company.
Two different things.
Yeah, but both for copyright infringement by Sarah Silverman, the comedian. OpenAI, I guess, specifically.
Yeah, OpenAI is the nonprofit institution that operates ChatGPT and that created it.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's for the same kind of thing, though. Instead of images, though, it's like books and other things that it's used for training.
Accusing the companies of using the author's copyrighted books without their consent to quote-unquote train their artificial intelligence software programs. I mean, it is, like this is going to be a thing, right? All of this AI stuff, generative AI things, ChatGPT where it generates text, things that generate images. There are AI things that are generating like music and voices. There was a big controversy about a voice actor who actually took a break from Twitter which is something this person has done in the past because they get sick of social media, but they took a break from Twitter because someone used an AI version of this voice actor's voice of like a character they're famous for and made him sing a song that's just like a really memey song. I don't know that the song was particularly offensive or anything, but the voice actor was like, you're stealing my likeness. You're using my voice and my character that I developed that is my, it's part of them as like a voice actor. And there was quite a row about that on the internet as well, of people being like, it's a meme. It's just a character from a show. And then,
so do people get upset at impressionists who do that kind of thing?
Well, but see, that's different.
Because
when Frank Caliendo does an impression, you see Frank Caliendo doing an impression. And also there are parts of him in that, right? He's not like extracting stuff from Obama and then just regurgitating.
No, that's true. I was just curious if imitation was also problematic.
I think that's part of the thing is when human artists imitate, if a voice actor does the voice of a character that's not theirs, but like represents them or something. One, I doubt a human voice actor would do that to another voice actor professionally. That's not very cool. But like, there's a creative part to that, right? When an artist makes something in the style of an artist they look up to or that they respect or that they really like or whatever, there's still like humanity in it. There's something else other than the work of the person who they're emulating in the piece. But when AI does it, it's literally just like copying in a way that's kind of complex and I can't explain very well. But it's not a one-to-one copy. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting issue because I'm on the side of, I agree with Mark, the cat's out of the bag as far as AI goes. Like, this stuff is going to exist. You can't make it illegal or anything at this point. It's going to exist. How it's going to exist and like what's going to be allowed or disallowed or become illegal to do, or it's going to be weird and interesting how it all plays out. Mark, you found something.
I found something. Literally, this is the biggest that I can get it because I just had to it doesn't work.
I see you've zoomed into 3,000% on Reddit.
If I try to open the image in another tab, it's just like, this isn't, wait a minute.
Whoa!
I knew you could do it!
I did it! Anyway, you can see the old version on the left, new version on the right. So you can see there's a distinct difference.
Are these like the same prompts or the same characters or something?
Yeah, it's the same prompt. You can see, and this is kind of the heart of the problem. You see this name right here is a common prompt for like good artistic because that's just a really talented artist. And so they put in a name for a style and then it like spits out something with that style. And then the styles are applied to like the same prompt with different like seeds. But you can see this is the direction and it's just like, this is to scare you. Is like the direction is, it's getting really good. And it's this is like progress within a year of evolution of this particular generative model. And it's getting better. And the problem is it's not perfect, but this is after a year.
Oh my God, the Pixar one.
Yeah, that's the old model on the left. And the right's not that much better, but it's like...
but the Pixar people on the left in the old model, they look like one of those movies that shows up in the dollar bin at Walmart that's like a knockoff of a Pixar movie. Like,
And I think like some people might look at this and be like, hey, it's irresponsible for us to even talk about this. It's like, there's nothing we can do or not do that would stop this. And in all honesty, we totally get the arguments that people have because in a few years, our job, we said this before, someone could like recreate all our voices and they could make this podcast talk to each other. There have been YouTube channels that are just like AI SpongeBob, where it just like constantly generates an AI episode.
Oh no, that endless SpongeBob is so funny. It's not good, but it's funny, and you can see where that might go as things get better.
Yeah, so you see that, and it's like what's on the left in this one, the old version where it's real jank, and you can see it, and you laugh. It's like, that's so bad. And then on the right here, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh.
And that's a really short amount of time to make that hop.
Yeah, so we are obviously also on the chopping block in terms of like our job gone forever.
Well, and even creatively, like someone is going to use a Markiplier AI voice at some point to like make a commercial for their company or say some, make a really trolly thing where you say some horrendous shit, something really that you would never say that's out of character, and then people online will hear that and be like, what?
Yeah.
Mark!
The thing is, that can already happen even without AI because there's that green screen thing from Munasana. So like, this is my favorite thing. And a bunch of companies use that to promote their product. And then I was like, oh boy, I can sue for that. And I have tried. Well, I haven't tried. I told my lawyers about it, and I'm sure that they sent some very scary letters.
Yeah, I'm sure they wrote some letters and got in touch and were kind of like, hey, that's illegal. So what you doing over there?
That's always fun whenever you see a random product and it's like, I didn't know Mark endorsed this. I'm like, hey, buddy, nice. And he's like, gotta contact my lawyers again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, so I shouldn't have bought their product. Damn it.
So there is legal recourse for this thing. Like, yes, there is a basis for artists and like any kind of celebrity, internet personality, content creator to be upset and get like legal ramifications for it. So these lawsuits, depending on how they go in the courts, of course, like I think they do have a basis. There is definitely something to be said about that. And there will be legal battles that go out with this. And then, we're just going to see. It's going to see. It is what society demands of it.
Well, it's unfortunate that this sort of stuff gets sorted out in the legal sphere because, man, our lawyers and the law just an awful place. Like all the music copyright cases of the last couple decades. I mean, of a long time, but like a lot of people became familiar because Ed Sheeran had a long-running case of copyright where someone basically accused him of stealing a chord progression, which is if you're a musician is kind of a silly thing to think like, yeah, you played those chords in that order, that's my song. It's really not. But like, and also the Robin Thicke case, Marvin Gaye's estate, like the people have become more aware of that. This is so much more complicated than that. And the law already does a really mediumly bad job of addressing musical copyright, where you're looking at like note for note, this note, and then this song has this note, and then this song, and like it needs to be sorted out because you're right, artists need to be protected, and like this is a serious issue. It has the potential to be such a terrible shit show in terms of the court trying to interpret existing laws. There aren't laws on the books that address AI in a way that makes any sense or address AI at all. Like, it's about to be a real sloppy couple decades trying to sort out who owns copyright rights in terms of AI training and all of this shit. And I got bad news for you. Having money helps you win court cases. And between artists and companies who want to exploit AI systems, I have an inkling about where the money might be in that face-off. Doesn't mean that that's the right side, and it doesn't mean that the artists don't stand a chance. But it makes me very wary, because we might be headed down a road of a lot of litigation with a lot of really shitty outcomes. And I'm not saying that a bunch of 70-year-olds in our congressional seats and whatever in Washington won't know how to make laws that address AI in a good way, but they might struggle with such a technologically advanced issue.
They're experts in every field.
Now, you guys see that guy on TikTok who covered the TikTok hearings and was just like, now, does TikTok connect to the Wi-Fi in my home? Yes or no? He did like 200 parts of all the different, I think they were mostly made up, but
I watched the Facebook hearings years ago, and whatever the other one was, I forget the second one was.
The one where the guy tried to get Mark Zuckerberg to help him set up his Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah, and then some of the questions were just like, some dude was like having trouble with his phone. He's like, could Facebook fix the phone connection I have? He's like, that would be your provider. No. It's like, oh, yes, please make our laws.
The punchline is we're not experts on this. So if you want to learn more, you should find news sources with good information with experts. But it's an issue. And if you haven't heard about this, it's an issue.
Yeah, and therefore, I quit preemptively.
Points to Mark for quitting.
Wait, is that the topic? We haven't even said that yet.
You read the episode title when you started playing it.
What? Yep. Absolutely.
This episode definitely wasn't recorded right after I quit part 1.
I mean, it wasn't right after. I don't know what you're talking. I'm wearing a different shirt. I spilled on my shirt. I got a new shirt and spilled on it immediately. Look at that. Anyway, you should look into this, more info on that. It's a hot debate, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Okay, good small talk, Mark, and you do get points for that.
Thank you.
I'm going to even say how many points you get. 6,000 points, Mark.
Whoa!
Is that the most points we've ever given for one thing? I
honestly don't know, but I'm mixing it up, all right? It's currently 6,000 to 0. Good job, Mark. And Wade, did you have any?
Doesn't matter if I do.
All right, Wade's not even going to try. No points for Wade.
Come on, it's fair.
I brought up the Chat GPT lawsuit. Does that count?
I think it would be really funny if we went 40 minutes again without getting to the topic of the episode and then just ended it. But
sure.
People on the subreddit were pretty upset about that. So I'm going to just introduce it.
They were upset. They are upset about everything. I tell a heartfelt story about how literally I had to go to my grandma's funeral.
Oh, God, that again?
And then people walk away from that episode being like, I'm upset. Mad.
Actually, no. So there was one comment specifically that was upset at you, Mark. Because I brought up the topic and we were, and you, but like as a group, we were like, well, should we? No. And then you made a comment that was something like, no, we should milk the content, like push that off. They were mad that they were literally made a comment on the Reddit and they were like, see, they don't even hide it anymore. They're literally just dragging this out just to get more episodes. Mark just said they're going to milk the content. Viewers hate that. Why would they do that? Viewers hate that so much.
Because I quit is like the hot search term right now. We are pulling in the views. Everyone's looking for it.
Yeah, well, if we pushed off such a trending topic for another time, but
I know, right?
we waited.
Yeah. It's really, why hide it at all? It's definitely a thing where we wanted to give the topic more time to actually discuss about it. And then, oh, look at that. I'm exempt from any criticism on an episode where I talk about my grandmother's funeral.
They're like the broke your elbow Vine guy. They're like, I don't even care that your grandma died. I forget the exact quote from the Vine about the broken elbow, but that's that guy. They're like, fucking, I'm here for I Quit. I was searching for anything about I Quit, and I finally found it. And what do? Don't talk about it. What are you talking about? Oh, grandma died. Boo-hoo. Where's the quitting?
We quit the episode early.
Yeah.
This is literally what the episode was about.
We did the thing. Anyway, this one, we're going to talk about it, okay? So calm down, angry comment. But yeah, no, I was going to start this one with a story because we're going to talk about I Quit. This is I Quit part 2. And I have a story about when I quit a job, but you can tell a story about quitting a job, quitting a project, quitting, I don't know, a friendship, like whatever, any sort of quitting. And it doesn't have to be you. You can Google them. This is like an old school episode. You could tell a story of from the news of some hilarious thing. But I had a weird quitting experience, and it was not in the way that quitting experiences tend to be like dramatized online. After college, I graduated from college and I was working at a pizza place, and I was like trying to find like a big boy job, like a desk job. And I was interviewing at like insurance companies and all these places. And I ended up getting this random interview to work in the office, like the administrative office of a public charter school, which if you don't know is a publicly funded school, but is not part of a public school system. It's like a one standalone school. And we actually had 2 schools, but now that I'm older and I've learned a little more, not a thing I'm a big fan of, actually. But education funding issues aside, I got this job, and I had a degree in organizational leadership, which is basically like how to be a middle manager 101. So I had no training in like how to work with kids or teach kids. I did study music education for a year, but I got out of that pretty quick. So this was a new experience for me. I worked at this place for a couple years. It was a crazy school. It was in Cincinnati. It was not in downtown Cincy, but it was like in the city. It was a K through 12 school. So we had like little kids who were adorable, who were super cute. And then we had like high schoolers who would like bring a switchblade to school and threaten to kill each other in the hallways. We had the whole range of experience in this one building. And it was really, I learned a lot, and it was really stressful. But it was also kind of like a weird school. The people who ran it were like weird. Eventually, I decided to go to law school, and Mandy and I were going to move to North Carolina to go to grad school. And so I had to quit, right? But it was like over the summer. The kids were gone. School ended like in the middle of May or something. And when school ended, all the teachers left. But I was supposed to keep coming in and sitting in the office. But I would just go into the school by myself, sit in an office by myself, and had no one giving me tasks. So like there was some stuff I was supposed to do, but I mostly just browsed Reddit for 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. Like I didn't have the like principal and people didn't come in. I was the one person in the entire building, and I was there because like once a month, a parent would come in and be like, hey, I gotta fill this paperwork out or something, and I would help them do stuff. But I just literally browsed Reddit, and I had a motorcycle at the time. I would just browse this motorcycle forum about like how to do an oil change on your 1970 Honda motorcycle, blah, blah, blah. And when it came time to quit, that was the situation I was in. And I like sent some emails to the higher ups, and I was like, hey guys, I'm just giving you my notice. Like, I got to quit in a month. I'm moving away for grad school, so I won't be here for next school year, blah, whatever. Never got a response. No one ever came in. It came to the day where it was like, well, we're moving to North Carolina in like a week. And I told them I wanted this to be my last day. So I guess I'll just leave my keys on my desk and lock the door behind me on the way out today. And that's how I quit my job. Like, I don't know what happened. The school shut down before the next school year started, if I remember correctly. So I don't know if something happened with the people where they got in trouble or fired or lost funding or what.
Well, they didn't have any keys. They couldn't get in.
I didn't have keys to lots of. I couldn't get into classrooms. I could get into the front door, my office, and the bathroom. Those are the only keys I had. But
That's the only places you needed to go. Who needs to go anywhere else?
Who was still paying you?
I don't know. The payment stopped. That's the thing too. At some point, it was like a normal job, right? So we got paid every like 2 weeks, basically. I got my last paycheck that I expected to get. And then I didn't get any more paychecks. So I didn't like steal from these people. It's not stealing if I didn't do it on purpose, but like they didn't continue to pay me accidentally. I don't know what happened. I tried to like give notice and do that. And I was like, do I need to do any paperwork, or do you guys want to, can I help you with anything before I go? I was sort of in charge of some stuff. And I was like, I emailed them the files. I was like, here's this I keep track of. Here's this is how I do. Nothing. I just left one day and I never went back. I don't know if we were cool or if they were mad at me or if someone got arrested or what, but yeah, so I quit and then I just left.
No, here's what I think what happened, Bob. This is what I think. You weren't actually working at a school that was currently functioning. You were contacted by a ghost. You went into a haunted building, because you were locked in your room. You probably heard like students shouting and chatting.
It was an old building.
Oh, 5 days at elementary.
Yeah, they were always like footsteps down the hall, but you never actually saw anyone. You only went to the bathroom, which like you had to unlock every time you go. And then when you try to quit, you shout out loud to your boss or whoever, and then you just leave and the door slammed shut behind you and locked itself. And you're just like, well, I guess it's all good. You never questioned the chills down your spine?
I thought it was just cold in my office.
No.
Is that the lock of 87 you had to open?
1887 maybe. I will say this was literally a over 100-year-old building. It was a school in Cincinnati in the 19th century that had closed in the mid 20th century and then been reopened to operate when I worked there.
So you thought.
So I thought. Dude, now I'm sad that I quit my ghost job. That was the easiest job I ever had. Ghosts don't give a shit.
What if you were being paid by ghosts?
That is impressive. They paid me ghost money, but it turned into real money once it touched my real bank account.
Yeah, exactly. Well, ghosts can, they can inhabit computers and network systems. That's where they like to hang out now, on the internet. Yeah.
That means ghosts can technically have, I don't know if it counts as corporeal form, but if they can take the form of electronic current that affects electronics in that way, it means they do have a physical form and they're not just ethereal things you could see.
Yeah, they don't call it the ghost in the machine for nothing. Yeah, but that school, that wasn't real. Or it was real, but, it was ghosts.
That's pretty cool. You got to quit ghosts.
I quit you, ghosts. There's like, the principal is like watching on the camera, watching me not do work, and is like, why is he yelling at the ceiling? And I'm just on the camera like, I quit! Hey, ghosts, I'm leaving! And I'm never coming back! Just like, what's wrong? I'm glad he's quitting. Holy shit. We hired this guy to work in a school with children.
In a weird way, Wade made that joke, but your job does sound a lot like the premise for Five Nights at Freddy's. And I think probably even the movie coming up is just like, you're just hired on this job, you go in this abandoned building, you just sit around all day.
It wasn't abandoned, okay? During the school year, there were lots of people, I think.
You think, yeah?
I think I saw them.
Occasionally one person would come to interact with you, but otherwise you were there alone.
I was always confused how they got in my office without opening the door, but I just assumed I didn't notice.
Yeah. Well, you're haunted.
Probably. No, you know what? I am haunted because we're trying to move right now, right? The moment we started trying to move, lights in our house just started turning themselves on and off. And I'm not even fucking exaggerating. The lamp in our living room started doing it. We were just sitting there and the lamp just goes off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. And I was like, it's on like a smart switch. So I looked at my phone and I was like, stop? What? I had to unplug it. It just kept doing that. I unplugged it. The exterior light on my office, it lights up for motion. I unplugged that interior light that's doing that. The light on my office across the yard just started going off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Like I was standing in the house staring out there just like,
The ghosts have found you. They want you back at school.
Starting to think you might be right about the haunting.
I'm just glad it's not me this time. Can you be the lit man?
Yeah, how do you know that your fridge delivery was delivered by real people? How could real people be that incompetent?
That is some ghost behavior, you know? That's the kind of shit that you would do if you can't touch anything. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just try to like drag, like the fridge is floating. You think they're behind it carrying it like this, but the fridge was just like floating through the bushes and the sprinkler goes off and you're like, oh, these incompetent guys that I definitely saw. Can you remember their faces? Can you recall their faces?
I just remember what they said, but I don't remember where the words came out of, you know? They came from everywhere almost. They came out of the air.
I want so badly for them to have seen Bob's fridge, the ghosts.
At least someone at Lowe's has seen Bob's fridge, because I got a hilarious prank call where someone knew my name and phone number and was like, "How's your fridge?" And it was from a Lowe's corporate line.
They didn't say, is your refrigerator running? They had that whole thing lined up, teed up for the old joke.
Mr. Lowe's is like prank calling Bob after that episode.
I was live streaming games sometime right after that episode went out. And I got a call on my phone and it said Lowe's Home Improvement. And I thought to myself, I wonder if they're going to finally like resolve something. Maybe they saw the episode and so on stream, I answered it and I was like, hello. And all I heard was like, refrigerator. Click. And that was it.
You think that these are hilarious pranks? It's ghosts.
It was like a 14-year-old boy who was like, I'm just going to say refrigerator when he answers.
No, man. You're justifying in your head. This is ghosts. That's ghost behavior.
Why is that ghost? That's not ghost behavior. That's idiotic.
You don't think interference, way too close, mumbled words? That's what people go ghost hunting for.
How did the ghost make a phone call from the Lowe's line? That's what I want.
How did a kid? Why is that the easier justification?
Because he works at Lowe's. He called from the store where he works. I called back and it was a local Lowe's store.
But you called back. Who answered?
I called back and it was like, I called a Lowe's store. It was like the main phone line, right? So someone who worked in a store called my phone from a phone in the Lowe's store.
Bob, Lowe's went out of business 10 years ago.
I'm not listening to you, Mark. No, man. No, you can't do this to me, man. I don't believe that's not true, man.
I'm looking it up.
Blockbuster was around longer than Lowe's.
That's not true. You can't lie to me like that.
Maybe not all Lowe's, but the Lowe's in your area. Lowe's was closing 51 stores in 2018, including 4 in California. Ooh. Ooh. Did you actually go to the Lowe's?
And California is a pretty tight-knit, close community, so you know that it had to be the one close to you.
Yeah, well, there were only 5 in California, and I know one of them's down by Mark.
Uh-oh! No, I'm all about the Bob is haunted forever theory.
As long as I get my docuseries, The Haunted Man, I'm here for it.
The lit man.
Well, what does that have to do with the refrigerator saga?
The cold man.
But that's only part of the saga. What about the light stuff?
The coldly lit man.
Yeah, there's lights in fridges.
The electrified man.
Yeah.
The Lowe's man.
You go back to the school, you scrub off the dirty name plaque, and it's like Lowe's Charter School for Gifted Children.
I do that, but I scrub it off, and it's like, oh, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt School, and I'm like, oh, God. And then there's another part I scrub off, and it's like, funding graciously provided by the Lowe's family. It's like, no! No!
It's like you keep scrubbing. There's just more to scrub.
I keep, like, turning around and looking back in this other area, and I'm like, death place of Terrence Williams Lowe's? This is where Mr. Lowe's died? Shit! Why is there a school here?
And you keep scrubbing, and it's the phone number of that Lowe's that called you.
Scrub boy died tragically by a refrigerator accident.
I walk around the corner to where I parked, and there's a new brick on the exterior wall that looks really conspicuous, and I go up to it, and really small and printed in the brick, it just says, refrigerator. No!
It's all because you quit. That's the problem. You got to go back there and you got to get your job back.
We should quit this topic, honestly.
Points to Wade for suggesting that we quit.
We could probably do a quit part 3.
I can't. The end of every I Quit episode, I just go, I can't quit you, and then we do it again.
we should make our mission in our distractible life to make that one commenter as mad and as justified as possible. Like they're right because they're doing it.
Let's rename the podcast I Quit. The I Quit podcast.
You know how last time not last time, but in the last I Quit, I talked about how I did the blame Wade thing for missing the episodes.
Yeah.
And I somehow had no foresight in how that would impact you, because people always glob onto that. I didn't think through the fact that having an episode titled I Quit would cause panic in our very quick to jump to conclusions audience.
Oh, yeah.
They've not posted for 2 weeks and then they're quitting?
There were a good number of posts of people who were like, who quit? Why did they quit? Is it over? Yeah, it's over. That's the end of
It's all done.
We all hate each other. We flew too close to the sun and now we quit.
Anyway, if you guys want to actually earn points, what you got? You guys quit any jobs? You do any funny stuff? You got any ghost stories?
Well, I want to talk more about your hauntings.
I'm not haunted. Stop saying it like that.
Oh, sorry, haunting.
I only ever quit one job, and I'm pretty sure I talked about it here.
Yeah.
The Census Bureau in 2010, because it was just like, I was working in a really scary area. That was it.
Wait, I don't remember this story.
Wait, so do you still work at UDF?
Well, does putting in your 2 weeks counting as quitting? I thought quitting was like, I quit today. Because I guess I've quit a lot of jobs if that's the case.
Pretty sure quitting a job involves no longer working there at some point.
Okay, I was thinking of the extreme, like, I quit today, whatever. Putting in my 2 weeks, yeah, I've done that a lot. So Census Bureau, Mark, in 2010, while we were in college, I worked for the Census Bureau, and they offered me $17 an hour, which was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they had me working down in like parts of Cincinnati and Clifton that were like kind of like crime-riddled, sketchy areas. And when you walk around saying you work from the government in a bunch of crime-riddled, sketchy areas and asking people to give you their personal info, a lot of times they don't take that very well. And there were instances of like people having like shotguns and stuff, like people would answer the door with like guns aimed at them.
Oh, that's not funny.
Because, you know, if you happen to knock on the door of someone cooking meth or dealing drugs or whatever have you.
You said with guns aimed at them. Did you ever have a gun aimed at you?
I did not.
Oh,
but
well,
two of the people I trained with.
Way less sympathy. But
You don't think that they were just trying to scare you? Were they ghosts?
They might have been, but I didn't want to become one, so I quit. Some of the houses I knocked on were like, they were definitely like, they interrogated me more than I was able to ask them the few questions. It was like, how many people live here? Who lives here? What are your occupations? How long have you been here? And it's like, you know, whatever. But they were like, why do you need to know this, kid? My job is to come here and, who hired you? The government, I guess?
Did they give you like a badge or something, or just a t-shirt that said census guy?
I'm pretty sure we had to have like a little credential thing, like a little pinned thing. I don't remember in all honesty, but I lasted all of like 2 or 3 weeks. And some of the houses I went to, I just got like a horrible feeling as I was talking to the person, because I could tell they were like not having it that I was there. And I was like, dude, $17 an hour is great, but I do not feel safe. And this is like the better part of the area that I'm in.
If your job offers you $17 an hour and it comes with a free flak vest, probably some concerns. Yeah, that's fair.
It did not, but it probably should have. But that's the only job I quit. I mean, yeah, I left UDF. The one that kind of hurt was whenever I left Cincinnati Eye Institute. They renamed. I don't remember what they're called now, but that was to start doing YouTube. And the person who hired me to go to like their trainee program. So I learned all the different parts of the eye. I was working in cornea, retina, glaucoma, so on and so forth. And the person who hired me was like, so we put you through the trainee program, and it's only been like a year or whatever, and you're leaving. And I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but this YouTube thing, I don't know, it's doing pretty well. I feel like I could really like
You told them.
maybe pursue a dream. They were like, okay, sure.
And look at me now, Gary.
So my mom worked for the same company, and we would go to like fireworks at that company thing. You had to have like a
Oh, awkward.
yeah, we went because it was like fireworks where we don't have to go deal with huge crowds of people. That sounds nice. And we showed up, and there was the person who hired me, and they were like, "Hey, my kid's actually a big fan of what you do. I see that why you left now." And I was like, "Oh, thank God. I thought this was gonna be really awkward."
Oh, that's very nice, though.
And then they watch some of your videos and they were like, hey, my kid watches this. What the hell? Oh, actually, you're kid friendly. I'm the one who's not kid friendly.
Not anymore. I was back then.
You used to be kid friendly, but you
I'm
changed.
the worst one now, dude.
You changed, Wade.
I don't know if I've ever quit. Like any. Oh, I quit.
Didn't you every 2 weeks quit like your new thing until you found YouTube? Didn't
Those
Bob?
weren't jobs, though. Those were just like,
No, not jobs.
Well, this isn't about job. It's called I Quit.
yeah, well, it doesn't have to be a job, but
The thing wasn't, I didn't quit those either. I gave up. It's a big difference.
Mark was like, I'm not good at this in 2 weeks. Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
I
yeah.
gave up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that'll be the next episode.
Well, I gave up my jobs too. I didn't quit the Census Bureau. I just gave up on them.
Actually, there is a whole topic in I give up, but I will say, like, if the topic is just like getting not working anymore, I may have talked a little bit about my engineering job that I had. Did I tell you the reasons why? I mean, I told you, like, I didn't like my boss.
you told a story about the hot cocoa incident and like stealing all the hot cocoa and putting it in your desk. And
Yeah,
like,
I did that.
I remember kind of, I don't remember if you tell the story of your boss for sure.
So my boss, I think I've mentioned, is the living embodiment, or was at least the living embodiment of Michael Scott. And I had not seen The Office at that point, but after seeing The Office, I was just like, oh my God. And I've talked about how she had me, well, I didn't have a job there. It was much like your ghost job, is that like I just sat at a desk and mostly did nothing. And then it was going through this period, the whole company, where it was like firing everyone that was like an employee and then only hiring contractors, which is just, I'm glad that era of employment is over for people in America.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone didn't do that. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Imagine.
But there, so everyone was being fired, and then everyone was like, the contractors were being hired for certain jobs, and it was like I was in there, and I knew the jobs didn't even need to be there anyway, which was very strange. But the thing about offices, you gotta have butts in seats, I guess, maintaining these contrast injectors that don't matter. But she made me do this employee like appreciation thing. This is a side note to the whole. I didn't work there anymore because I got fired.
They quit you?
Yeah, they quit me.
They quit me.
That's how you know I'm not haunted. Is I didn't quit. I got fired. But it was like some really, really stupid thing where it was like, show your appreciation, and she had me make like superhero posters with like the Hulk and Scarlet Widow and Iron Man for all the other engineers in the office, with just like you're so great, you're a hero. And she had me hand it out at like in the middle of this company lunch at a Mexican restaurant that we were at. And I got up and I opened my manila envelope and I just slowly hand out, and I just it was stupid as shit. But literally, it's as embarrassing as it sounds. But that's what I mean when it was like Michael Scott. And I don't know what this person is doing. I hope they're not working there anymore.
They got promoted.
Oh, that's just how it happens. That's what happens.
They now run low.
Yeah, but I was trying to do a job that they actually had me do, which was they made contrast injectors. They also made little handheld contrast injectors when you don't need the big thing that's going at a thing. So they hadn't been selling them for a very long time. So they wanted to sell them again. So they were like, okay, bust out the old engineering documents on like assembly and like make sure they're up to date, do a new revision of them. A lot of engineering is just documentation. You make a new version of the document by making sure that nothing in the current safety standards has said, oh, everything you did before was terrible, and then everything still works. And then also I was supposed to, it's like you pull out the tome and you go, oof, and dust just that's how old this shit is. And I get out the assembly thing for actually putting it together, because I'm supposed to assemble them so that we can like send a demo set out so they can sell them, right? the guy who made the documentation for assembling them, my boss was like, go check with him to make sure that it's still good. Guess what? That guy got fired a long time ago. He wasn't there anymore. So I pull up his documentation and I'm reading through it and it's like, oh, look, it's made by some guy who didn't give a shit about what was going on in there. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm on my own. So I read the instructions and I go to assemble them. And I go to my boss and I'm like, is this right? And then she takes it and she goes click, click, click. And I'm like, seems right to me. And then sends me off. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make 100 of these. And I go make 100 of them. I assemble 100 of them. And then I go to my boss. I'm like, here they are. Like, is this right? Click, click. Good. She never tested them on an actual like contrast thing. And they get sent off to the sales department or the client or wherever. I don't know where they went. And then a week later, I hear back that I messed up. Those were assembled incorrectly because one of the springs, instead of being like turned this way, it needed to be turned this way inside. So it's like when it pressed in, the trigger, it's like a little handheld gun injector. When you pull it down, it didn't release automatically or smoothly, or wasn't able to like give at a constant rate. There was some flaw in it. I never actually knew what it was because the only time I heard about it was when I got pulled into HR and been like, so we got a problem here. I'm just like, what's the problem? Oh, you cost us a lot of money. You cost us a lot of money. I was like, what? What do you mean? You assembled these wrong. And I'm like, no. Well, my boss checked out to like confirm that I was right, and that was the wrong answer. That was the wrong answer. My boss doesn't get in trouble. No, the intern gets in trouble. And admittedly, yeah, I assembled them wrong, but I checked. I've never made them before. I dusted off the tome. It's just like, so that was led to my boss at this point hated me anyway, because my boss habitually came in late and texted me to turn the light on in her office. I think I've mentioned that before. And she got in trouble for that. I got pulled into HR prior to that and we're like, you're not in trouble, but have you been turning on the light to your boss's office? And I go like, yeah, I have. I'm not gonna lie. And that was the right answer at that point, but she didn't get fired at that point. She just got put on week leave, and then when she came back, she was really mad at me.
Go figure.
So who knows, like maybe she intentionally misled me. Yeah, a lot of people there said the phrase, yeah, don't throw other people under the bus, man. And I'm like, I'm just telling the truth. You know, I tell the truth that someone left early during Christmas break because I was asked. And it's like, and I know it's like, yeah, I'm a snitch. And that's like, at this point, I wouldn't rat out like a fellow employee at any moment, but it's like, I've never worked in an office environment. Why is it so cutthroat? Why aren't we just here to make contrast injectors and that's it? It's like so annoying.
Make stuff and tell the truth.
Yeah, so I dropped all those habits and I left that place because I think it was haunted, so I left immediately.
Sounds pretty haunted.
Where did the haunting come? Yeah, you're right. No, never mind. You're right.
No, actually, that place was so weird because I worked in one side of it. This building was gigantic because it used to be a manufacturing hub where they would actually make this stuff before they outsourced it, right? Everything went out overseas to either China or everywhere else to manufacture. So we worked in the engineering sector, which was just like in this tiny, like not tiny, but it was like, maybe 2,000 square foot office cubicle area. The building was tens of thousands of square feet. So there was huge parts of the building that were just empty, just enormous spaces.
That's cool.
It was really cool, actually.
Yeah.
And I would, when I went to go get the tomes and build these things, I would have to walk basically half a mile through all like, those Amazon, like you see the interiors of it. It wasn't quite that big, but it was a warehouse. It was just like, I would walk half a mile to go to the other side to get the parts. And I was like, I'm not going to walk back. I'll just assemble them here. So on occasion, my boss would come out whenever I was doing something like that and be like, I thought you were sleeping back here. And I'm like knee deep in parts. I'm like, why would I be doing that? You told me to do something and I'm doing it.
Your boss like rubbing their eyes because they just woke up from a nap. I thought you were napping over here.
They crawled out from the boxes behind me just like, oh, you're here. Oh, I would not be surprised if people napped.
Did you make sure the lights in my office is off when you leave? Thanks.
Wow. Well, I didn't say it, but Wade, you earned points with your stories of giving up / quitting. 60,000 points.
Wait,
But Mark, because you worked at a haunted place, and that relates to the story that I told, 60,005 points.
I worked at a haunted place.
Oh, okay, 20 more thousand points for Wade.
Well, he hasn't said yet.
Well, I just talk about it, Wade. What was haunted about it? What do you do? What'd you do?
I made a YouTube video at Bobby Mackey's. Therefore, I was working, and the place was haunted that I was working at.
Minus 10,000 points for kind of misleading me on that.
I'll take it.
Anyway, yeah, good stories, everybody.
Thanks.
You should have taken more naps there, Mark. Apparently, that was cool.
I really wish I did. Because I looked back there and I'm like, there is no one here. Like, there's no one here. It's like, and no one cared that I was at my desk anyway. Like, that was the first job where I just gotten like an iPhone 3 or a 3G or whatever it was. And I would play those shitty games that are, mobile games nowadays are no better than they were back then, but it was still just like, you know, the shitty games on my phone.
In the world before the App Store even existed, you'd played the 2 games that came on the iPhone.
Yeah, I do the thing where it's like the lighter. You turn the lighter on.
No, yeah,
I saw
something recently. Do you remember when that app where it was a beer, you'd open a beer and then you could be all...
Yo, yeah, I had
you
that
drink
too,
the beer on your
look at this guy.
Dude, the 2000s were such a fun time.
Oh man, it was great.
They were okay.
I had a coin flip app on my phone.
Ooh.
Here I am tossing and doing the triangle of fairness. I could have just pulled up my phone from...
Could you select different coins to flip?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, a whole smorgasbord.
Are we doing Triangle of Fairness merch? We got to do it, right?
How dare you bring up merch on this podcast?
Sorry, I forgot.
What are you doing to us?
The ghost of merch pass.
It's probably out of stock already. I don't even know.
You know our merch page is haunted. How dare you?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Well, I actually gave you points this time, and if anyone's astute, keeping track, you might notice that Wade is winning.
Wait, I was keeping track.
Hold on, Mark. Now, hold on. Let the man speak.
Wade is winning. I gave you 6,000 points, Mark.
Yeah.
But that I gave each of you 30,000, or was it 60,000?
60,000.
But I gave you 60,005 for it being haunted. But then I just gave Wade 20,000 for working at a haunted place. But then I took away 10,000, which leaves Wade at approximately 70,000, and Mark is at 66,500. Well, I don't know. But we should do this democratically, as we always do. Wade votes, we end. Mark, what do you vote for?
How long we been going? I want to really milk this.
Well, we're over an hour on the recording already, so...
Who else votes we quit? Me! Oh, look at that other hand in there. There's 2.
Wait, was that Mark?
I vote quit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's quit.
What are you, haunted? Look at this guy. He's giving up his own victory.
Wait. Right. No. How do I get points?
I don't know. You'll have to just take a stab at it.
There was another job. I quit another job because...
No.
Oh, Mark gets 5,000 points.
No, come on.
But Wade gets 2,000 points for voting that we quit first.
Yes.
Do you not even want to hear it?
But Mark, tell your story. Maybe there's more points. Continue. But keep it short. Okay, way to milk the content.
All right, okay, so I was doing deck building, and I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and I didn't like the job much because of minimum wage and like really hard work.
Have you told this story on here before, or parts of it? I feel like I remember.
He talked about the deck building thing, but you talked about the story where you trim the tree or something.
No, I talked about that. This is different. So
okay.
I was like, when I actually quit that job, I had a doctor's appointment, and my doctor, he like listened to my heart. He was like, you might have a heart murmur. Here, put on this heart monitor. And a heart monitor is just a big thing that you wear that like straps up everywhere. It looks like really intense because you carry a bag on you with a little battery and a data like analyzer or whatever, recorder, and then electrodes all over your body, and it's supposed to track your heart over a whole day. But it looks scary. So I went to my boss and I was just like, sorry, I had a heart attack. Look, and I showed him the thing, which is really karma for me eventually actually having a heart attack later in life. But at this point, I hadn't had that yet. So I was just like, oh man, sorry, I have to quit. I can't work anymore, because I was like, this is a perfect excuse. And so I use this as like my elaborate ruse of being like, I'm so sorry. Just health problems. I can't do this job because I couldn't sack up and just be like, I don't like this job anymore. I quit. So I had to make this elaborate ruse. And then they were like, okay, sure, whatever. Just return your shirts, which I thought was the strangest thing.
Your nasty shirts you've been sweating in all summer?
Exactly. The same. They gave me shirts, and I'm just like, geez, you pay me minimum wage. You want your freaking $10 shirts back? Your shitty raggedy. Was this someone else's shirt that you gave me? How many people sweated in this shirt before I got in it? So I didn't give back the shirts on principle because I broke the cycle.
The whole company shut down because they didn't have any more company shirts.
Oh my God, Mark, you're a madman.
I know.
First the cocoa, now the shirts.
3,000 points to Mark. Would have been more if it was haunted. I'm pretty sure that puts you in the lead, Mark.
I feel like this has been stacked.
And since Wade already voted to quit, Wade, do you vote to quit again?
Yes.
5,000 points, and the episode is over!
What?
Well, I feel like I established a pretty clear pattern. Mark, you were free to jump in and vote to quit at any point in time. You would have both ended the episode and earned points.
Whatever.
I'm not going to double check the math, and I was really doing that on the fly, and I'm really bad with numbers. But I'm fairly certain that I just gave Wade an arbitrarily high enough number of points that he should be winning this episode.
I quit winning.
Oh, Wade surrenders his win.
No, wait, no, it's not going to give me more points.
No, it did win you more points, but then you gave up the win anyway, which you're allowed to do if you want to. So you give Mark your win?
No.
If I say nothing, am I cool?
Yes.
Does that mean you're quitting participating?
He's quitting without... He's quiet quitting! He's quiet quitting! That's the coolest kind of quitting!
I don't know what's happening anymore. Are we winning or losing?
I don't know. The episode was technically over already, so Mark just earned like 8,000 points, but they don't count.
Because Bob quit counting them.
Yeah, he quit, which earned me points. No, it has to end at some point, okay? I know that I'm not good at picking a winner, and I know that it's very fair the way that I do things.
Didn't you two have a handshake deal? I appreciate you violating that.
I thought Mark had to ask for that. Is that a handshake? Was I just going to do that for him? I remembered that, but I remembered it as Mark having to ask. Was I just going to give Mark? No, I was just going to give Mark the win. That's right.
Yeah, but the episode's over.
Hey, wait a minute.
The episode's over in terms of points earnings, but if you recall, I'm still the host.
What?
Until I say the phrase that rhymes with Sloncast Pout, I am the host of this episode, and I can take backsies anything that I have said and done to this point.
I only brought that up because I thought I was safe.
You fool.
Okay.
You know what, Wade? I'm gonna pay Mark back in full. Wade, you had a great episode today. You quit a lot. You earned a lot of points, way more points than Mark did. You earned them the right way by talking about quitting and not the wrong way like Mark did by talking about being haunted. You deserve this win, Wade.
I don't like this. Hold on. I don't like this.
Because unfortunately,
oh no,
even though you earned the win fair and square, I have the deal with Mark and he has to win. Even though it's completely undeserved.
It's fair because I didn't really deserve to win from his grandma dying.
So I just gave you the exact win that I gave Wade last time, Mark.
Does it feel good?
I paid my debt in full. I did it. There you go. You can talk again. It doesn't count as unquitting if you talk.
Okay, all right, because you made that big statement about schmod, schmast, pout, or whatever you said.
No, yeah, I could absolutely go back on everything I just said, but I won't. Probably.
Unless I pull out a trump card that I've been holding.
Do you have like one of the higher or lower aces?
I have a trump card, but I'm holding it. I won't use it yet.
Oh, I thought you were actually about to do that to Mark. That would have been the most... Wade can steal a win from an episode that I host at any point in time. He has that.
Really?
Yes, he is holding on to him being able to claim a win from me as host at any point he wants. No questions asked. From a previous handshake, I should stop making handshake deals, I think is the real lesson of this episode.
Yeah, why didn't you give me the use any time card instead of just guaranteeing this win? Because then this guarantee means nothing if he takes it.
Well, you better shut up and give your winner speech quick and just let this all come to an end before Wade does something horrific.
Hold on, let me find my trump card.
Hurry up, Mark.
All right, I deserve this win. I love winning, and Bob may be haunted, but if he is, and I can prove it, I'll make a documentary about it.
Deal, bet. Wade, quick, loser speech.
You all suck. I'm great. Thanks for having me. Good show, Bob. We should quit 3.
Yep, I quit part 3 coming up next time I host. Don't worry about it. Make sure you check out store.distractablepodcast.com to get merch. Maybe, but no promises. Make sure you check out Wade. He's Lord Minion 777 or Minion 777. Mark is Markiplier. I am Meisker. Those things were probably on screen for about half a second each, so look them up if you're interested. And I'm not going to screw Mark over. That's the end of the episode.
No, I'm not stealing the win. I'm not stealing the win. I just got to point out, last episode that was I quit, I did not choose to be in a fucking bathroom. That was the editors.
I saw that.
That's all. I forgot to bring that shit up. That was not me.
Well, it's pretty echoey in there. Like if you were in a tile bathroom, it sounds like you're in a tiled space. So
that's it. That's all I had to say.
All right, podcast out.